Hi, cat. Come and get some mango, baby.
One, two, 1, 2, 3. Self-awareness is a superpower. My name is KathyLaDonna. Welcome to Soul and Vibration. I hope the free thinkers are doing well. And if you're not doing well, I'm happy to remind you that you are the most powerful person that you know. You are the most powerful person that you know because only you can create your reality. Hey guys, today is Wednesday. Wednesday is ruled by Mercury energy. Today is Wednesday, February 12th, and the energies in the day adds up or reduce to number 5 vibration. If today is your birthday, happy birthday. Today is the full moon in Leo. Hopefully you've already seen the full moon video. When it comes to the spirit guidance, we have the bee energy, and the bee energy brings me to socializing. The bee energy brings me to communication, and the energies in today brings me to communication because the energies in the day adds up and reduces to the number 5 vibration. And Wednesday is also connected to Mercurian energy, and Mercury is in Aquarius, and it's part of a T-square between the moon and Uranus in Taurus. And as we got to today's day, as I clicked on today's day, it brought me to a thought of something that I saw and something that I was watching recently. And it was of these friends getting into fights all the time. And when it came to the friends getting into fights all the time, there is this one person that is like the common denominator between everyone that enjoys stirring up things. And when it comes to this person, like there is no communication when it comes to two of the people that were having like a really bad back and forth. And it's like both of them can't accept reasoning. Like they can't accept reasoning. There's no reflection when it comes to both of them. So neither one is able to reflect and see their role or their contributions when it comes to the conflict within the group. And also too, one of them is avoiding communication because the one who avoids communication, like they both lack reflection, but one really avoids communication. But the other one who is willing to communicate, because he lacks reflection, even if you do communicate with him, his ways aren't going to change because he doesn't see his ways. He thinks he's perfect. But the one who is afraid to communicate, for him, I think he sees communication as confrontation, and he sees it as something negative because maybe he's never been taught how people can speak about uncomfortable things and gain solutions. So when it comes to today's energy, it brings me to the thought of those conversations, those connections where we aren't able to have those challenging conversations with, or it brings me to connections where there's no real communication, how those connections are going to be under fire. There's going to be issues when it comes to those connections. And it might seem as if something suddenly, unexpectedly came up out of nowhere, but it didn't come up out of nowhere. It's something that has been brewing for some time now. And because people aren't able to talk about it or get real about it, this thing might come to an end because, you know, today is the full moon, and a full moon brings things to an end, or it creates opportunities for things to evolve to the next level. And when I look at, say, the moon in Leo and then the sun in Aquarius, it's like I think of the sun in Mercury energy in Aquarius, where we identify as being a friend group. So because we identify as being a part of the group, I think of sometimes that mentality can support like bad behavior, in the sense that I think of like the connections where it's like no matter what, we stick together. And it's like, even when we show up and, you know, there's bickering and abuse and whatnot, no matter what, we stick together. I feel like Aquarian energy could reflect that, where the moon in Leo is like, I need to nurture myself. You know, I need to nurture my soul. I need to nurture what's within. And there's this back and forth of energy. And it's like, do I pick myself or do I pick the group? And I feel like when it comes to today's energy, there's big emphasis on that. Do I pick myself or do I pick the group? And I feel like when it comes to today's energy also, with the day being the 12th and 1 + 2 is 3, and the energies in the day adding up and reducing to the number 5 vibration, both energies deal with communication. So there's big communicative energy about today. And I feel like with the communicative energy about today, maybe something is said and a thing is said unexpectedly, or someone says something, and as simple as this thing is that is said, it carries a lot of weight and could trigger a big shift in a relationship dynamic, can trigger a major shift within a connection. The tarot for today, interesting, is the 8 of Swords energy. And I feel like with the 8 of Swords energy, it could be a situation where someone finds themselves stuck between a rock and a hard place when it comes to, you know, being in a position where it feels like you're being selfish for choosing yourself over the group. And it's like, I don't know what to do. Yeah, you do know what to do. Just move forward, because all of the problems are behind you. Because when you look at this card, she's surrounded by swords on the sides of her, but in front of her, there's a clear path to move forward. But when she moves forward, she's going to walk through the water, and the water seems pretty shallow based on the water behind her. And walking through the water brings me to tapping into our intuition. So when it comes to this energy today, or leading up to this energy, it brings me to, you know, being faced with a major decision where there's no coming back to. But the decision is clear, and the decision means to walk forward. So whether you're walking forward and something is also coming with you, or you're walking forward and you're leaving this thing behind. So it's either you can stay where you are when it comes to a current situation that you might be reflecting on right now, or you're dealing with. Is like, staying still means you're staying stuck in some chaotic situation. And moving forward, stepping into intuition, means you're freeing yourself. So I think of like being a part of a friendship, a friend group, and you know, you choosing to move forward, and there's evolution within the connection, because the connection moves with you. And the connection will move with you in the sense of, I think of like, you know, two people deciding to get therapy or get a mediator or get help to really hear each other, to really understand each other. There's just big emphasis on the mind element. The bee brings us back to the mind. The swords bring us back to the mind. Today being Wednesday, Mercury energy brings us back to the mind. Mercury is in an air sign, brings us back to the mind. Being, you know, the energies in the day adding up and reducing to the number 5, more mental energy. The day being 12, 1 + 2 is 3. Yes, it's ruled by Jupiter, but it's also expressive energy. So when it comes to today's energy, I feel like it's information overload. It's information overload, but the information that's coming in is one that forces transformation. Meaning, I look at Gemini energy and Jupiter there, and there's a trine between Jupiter, Neptune, North Node, and Saturn in Pisces, and Pluto in Aquarius. So I think of this major transformation when it comes to us standing up and facing certain things, and that's changing our friendship connections. Where with Pluto and Aquarius energy, I feel like a lot of friendships and connections and groups that we associate ourselves with, I feel like we're going to see a lot of endings when it comes to that, as people are going to have more not expectations. When I think of like, say, Pluto and Libra energy, more relationship energy, how when I think of the Pluto and Libra generation, I think of how that generation to me is the one where you'll see more single people who don't approach relationships, who have more of an independent mindset. And I feel like that independent mindset is good in some ways, but it could be problematic, as A person is more controlling when it comes to a relationship. They don't allow the energy to flow, and it's coming from a place of fear and a lack of trust. And I feel like we're going to see that same kind of thing when it comes to our friend groups, where it's like with Pluto and Aquarius, I see people forming more intimate groups and connections, and people not just getting together with these people because we share similar views. I see, people being more possessive about their friend groups. It's almost like a bunch of secret societies. It's like people coming together and creating a bunch of secret societies, and there might not be nothing much secretive about it, but Pluto energy, Scorpionic energy could be so secretive about nothing, private and secretive for the sake of being secretive. So when I look at the positive aspect, there is some transformation that's happening when it comes to connections, and we're having more structure and boundaries when it comes to these connections. And I feel like because of that, a lot of them will fall to the wayside if when you walk forward, they're not coming forward with you. Let's pause for a bit. I am proud of the services that I offer and excited to tell you about them. If it would be your first time booking with me, then I recommend the natal chart and numerology awareness coaching session. For a while, that was the only service I offered, along with the 30-minute tarot reading, which is still available if you're interested. I noticed the pattern. At the end of the natal chart and numerology coaching sessions, some of you would ask me for a follow-up service options for additional clarity and guidance to assist you with whatever you're going through at the moment. I kept saying, I'll look into it. I don't know why it took me so long. Finally, I have created that option along with the service option to book a solar return chart reading for those of you who are strategic and like to plan ahead. Everything you need to know is within the description box below. Let's get back into the video. And then not coming forward with you would bring me to, the person not able to keep up the fake connection anymore. The person not able to make excuses for a thing being the way it is anymore. There's a level of transformation. So a connection has to evolve to the next level or it will die. Your relationship or the way you communicate with siblings and family has to evolve to the next level or else it will fall apart. But of course, with this full moon, some of us could find ourselves filled with guilt as we feel like we're being torn because I feel like I belong to this group. I feel like I belong to this tribe and my stability and my security feels threatened if I choose me. My stability and my security feels threatened if I choose me. And that could look like for some people where it's like, even though you've never asked these people for help or ever needed them for anything, just being connected with them or just feel like you're a part of the group, it feels like there's this false sense of security, this false sense of stability that's not really there. So when it comes to today's energy, it brings me to big information communication energy, whether we're hearing something or saying something that's going to change things in a major way. But when it's all said and done, the connections have to transform to the next level. They have to, or they fall away. They transform and grow, or they fall away. And also too, what I want to say when it comes to this energy, don't feel bad for walking forward and up out of a situation that just doesn't serve you. And of course, with the moon in Leo, the moon is in a place where we have the courage to move forward. We have the courage to stand alone. We have the courage to be disliked. It's important. And that's a really good book. There's this really good book here on YouTube for free called The Courage to Be Disliked. I don't know, it came to mind. Somebody here needs to see it. Also too, when it comes to today's energy, instead of dealing whatever it is that we're feeling, we could find ourselves jumping ship and overstimulating ourselves, whether we're overstimulating ourselves with consumption of junk food and escapism type food or a substance or anything that we do to escape reality, scrolling, social media, things like that. Today's also one of those days where you want to set some kind of an alarm clock or checklist to make sure the important things that needs to get done gets done today, because it is so easy to start the day one way and it ends in an extreme different way. And the reason for that is in order to escape this, instead of dealing with the stuckness where someone is choosing to be stuck in a cycle. So instead of acknowledging that I need to walk up out of this cycle, this way of thinking that's keeping me stuck, instead of facing and dealing with that head on, a person who doesn't like to face what they're feeling or even acknowledge the feeling to know that they have them would find themselves busy coming and going. And, you know, before you know it, the day ends and it was just one of those extreme days. Nothing that you planned to do got done. The day went by really fast and you can't really account for your time. It was a pleasure sharing this message with you. Before you go anywhere, please let me know you're here with me by dropping me a blue heart in the comment box below. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Love yourself as if your life depended on it, because it does. Take care of yourself, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.